So I'm Libika. I have been a part of Jazz since the last 4 years. Currently, I'm looking at recruitment, mainly technology and digital domains. Handing it over to Sagar.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Sakib. I've been with Jazz for about a year and a half now. I'm the manager for talent management and performance, and prior to that, I was looking after learning and development.
My name is Bushra. I am HR business partner for corporate functions. So I've been with Jazz from last 2 years, and yeah, I've been with in the HR business partner team.
Hi, my name's Azam. I've been in jazz since for the past 6 years. I primarily have a background in communications and PR, but currently I'm looking after employer branding and culture here at Jazz.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mustafa. I have recently joined Jazz. Apart from this, I have almost worked in almost every telecom in Islamabad. So I've recently joined Jazz as an expert offboarding partner.
I'll start first. It's an open question. Um, Being in jazz for so many years and being part of the structure, we'll first go over the overall structure and the design of jazz. So, first question is anyone can answer it. What is the structure of jazz? Is it more hierarchical, or is this like a normal structure जिसमें मतलब flexibility ज़्यादा है या आपकी ज़्यादा hierarchy पे focus ज़्यादा होते हैं यहाँ पे?
I think we are more of a flat organization. I wouldn't say that. We there are set hierarchies in place, but they are there just so that levels are being defined over here. But you wouldn't see that in Jazz. We have the max level; it goes up to L7, and the L7 is our CEO. So you can see that there are only 7 levels. All the chiefs are at L6 level, and then going downwards, you'll see the VPs and directors, and that's how we go about it. So we are more of a flat organization. That's how we believe in. So you would see that. Also, we have flexible in a way that there are some roles that are of level 3 that are reporting into an L3 role, then an L4 reporting to an L4. So particularly, it's not mainly like that. L3 has to report to an L4, and L4 to an L5. They are
I'll follow up the question with: is the structure flattened to make it more smoother, to make the structure more smoother, to make your processes even faster, or
Yes.
it's just because it's more easy, more convenient to for you guys to not have a hierarchy and work more easily in that way?
I think it's both, to be honest, to make the processes more efficient, more like leaner in a place, and then it's just not like हमने hierarchies को और वो flatter organization इसलिए बनाया so that there are not multiple levels, but we want it to be more efficient in that way. So we are working very efficiently in this 7 levels as well. So that's all.
ठीक है और are there any key functions that are centralized for jazz? Like
As in,
आपके like जैसे आप your HRBP ठीक है, you're specified for such central role ठीक है ना, इस तरह के आप लोगों के multiple roles for multiple, क्योंकि it's such a global level की आपकी टीम ना, तो you have multiple आपके मतलब PR के अलग वो सब कुछ अलग, तो do you have centralized roles in that as well?
think we have 6 divisions that we call them enabling functions. Those are corporate functions, and I'm HR business partner for those. These 6 divisions are supporting commercial, business, technology, digital, product, strategy, name, whatever. So they are the driving business. The other, like consumer, business, technology, they are the driving, they're bringing in, they are the revenue generators of the organization. And then for the corporate functions, in 6 divisions, we are the enablers. For example, HR. In HR, we have HR business partner for each division. I'm HR business partner for internal audit, compliance, corporate and regulatory, people and organization, also finance. So that's how we go about. Then we have HR business partner for business separately. Then for consumer, we have separate. And then for consumer and technology, as it's like a biggest chunk of our organization. So we have multiple HR business partners sitting in regions as well. For example, Central में हमारे अलग HR business partner are looking after consumer technology business from over there. So they have their own set of, I would say, structure in place for supporting all the business.
Jazz Cash, is it part of your system or is it separate?
It used to be part of this system, but recently in August we have carved out Jazz. So Jazz Cash will remain part of our Jazz, but it's our one of the I would say subsidiaries, sister companies.
Strategic business unit.
Yeah, strategic business unit. Just like under the ambit of Beyond, we have Mobilink, then we have Jazz Cash, then we have Jazz as well. So these three entities are there. Then we're going to have our separate companies going forward as well, from different verticals.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay, so if Jazz is restructuring and redesigning its departments, how are the decisions made?
I think decisions are not mostly, but sometimes they are driven based on the strategies we have, looking at the future growth of the company. For example, we used to be a telecom industries, now we are a digital company. We are moving toward Jazz is not only same postpaid, prepaid. We are not that anymore. We are providing other services. We are into health. We are into entertainment. You must have heard about Tamasha, Rocks, Lifestyle. Then we have Sehat Kahani, Game On. So we have been transitioned ourselves and positioned ourselves in a way that we are not a telco anymore, but we are a digital company. As you said, how decisions are driven, they are driven. We are a very versatile company, all in all. So, as you mentioned, multinational company, we are always looking at new ventures where Jazz can enable people, where Jazz can help the overall populations. So we are always looking into, and then decisions are made obviously based on multiple stakeholders. It's not always just the top management taking decisions. It's always bottom to top to bottom decisions. Then coming from our other stakeholders are involved. Sorry.
Just to add, this is the vision of our CEO as well, that he has broken down this whole subunits where we have different subunits now and they can work autonomously. So that is the beauty of Jazz as well, where we think that each subunit, business unit, is autonomous now and they have their own hierarchy and decision making powers as well.
Okay, so there are different opinions and ideas of every single employee in Jazz. So how are these suggestions and ideas shared across all the departments?
I have a very recent example. We are having people connect sessions throughout Jazz. So all the leadership, all the LT, all the FLT, they are the ones are driving these sessions in different smaller chunks, smaller groups, where people feel like they are heard, their ideas are heard, if they have anything they want to express. So we have those regular sessions. On top of that, then we have our town halls, then we have our different ELTs. Yes,
We also have a
monthly
survey.
yeah, pulse survey as well. So there are multiple routes, multiple ways of employees that can communicate their ideas, their thoughts. And then, as I mentioned, as we are a leaner organization, our chiefs are always sitting on the floor with us. So they're easily accessible. You can always go up to them, have an idea discussed with them. And then we have a culture where we don't feel like that we need to take an appointment, we need to book a meeting with someone to go and have a conversation. You can always go up to any chief, you can always go up to any head, and then if you have to express your idea, you have to express any thought, you can always go and share new projects planned and managed at us. As in what way? Like new business ventures or like, projects? There are multiple projects. The associate program that you guys launched back in 2024, I believe. So how was that planned and organized?
So everything comes from a need, right? There is a particular business need or there is a particular gap that needs to be fulfilled, right? One of the challenges we faced was there was a lot of need for new talent, right? But not so much talent that comes in internship talent, but talent that can spend time in the organization that we can groom and grow. And then those individuals could transition into full-time roles. So for us, it made sense to bring people on board, give them the right exposure, train them, develop them, and then give them a chance, pathway into the organization. So it helped fulfill that particular need for the organization. So I'll give you an example. We were establishing our data and analytics function as a perspective, right? That's a very specialized skill set. And in that, we needed to bring in people that have studied in this area, but they may or may not have the practical business experience. So what we did was we brought in people that have the knowledge, they've studied this. We give them the business knowledge and experience so they learn and understand the skill set, and then we transition them to roles in the organization. We do a similar thing for cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has more jobs open in the world than there are professionals in it, right?
Yeah.
So similarly, we brought in people who are within that discipline, have learned about it, but they don't have the working experience, which is a big requirement because theoretical and practical cybersecurity are very different. So that enables us to bring in people that have the knowledge, the base, and allowed us to build and mold them into the capabilities that they need to succeed. And it's ongoing right now. So, and we're also exploring other channels as well. Because in Pakistan, we have a very large dearth of talent. There's a lot of people that have that capability, but it's not a lot of opportunities, right? And you need to be able to establish it for people to showcase their capability and then give them channels into the organization. So that's why these programs are available.
How does your management ensure that all departments like commercial, finance, and operations are working together effectively?
So it's a kind of a difficult question to answer because there's a lot of context to it, right? But one perspective is that our management meets every single week. Right? There's a weekly management meeting with the executive there where they review and discuss the key challenges that are with the organization, how to progress on the previous challenges, and they're sort of charting the way forward on a weekly basis as well. There's no overarching strategy for the business. There's no overarching strategy for the organization. That ambition that we mentioned, the SPU one. Within that, every SPU has its own ambition. Within that, the executive leadership team is also meeting and discussing these things, right? Then there are other meetings or other steering committees. We have a strategy division particularly focused on working on this area. So there's a lot of conversations happening at that level because when you, as you move up the organization, the pyramid flips, right? At a lower tier, you're working more on operations and less on strategy. But as you move up, you're working more on guiding the organization and less on the operation. So that guiding principle is much higher at the top there than at the bottom. But that's how you look at it.
So when a new problem arises, how do you guys decide that who's gonna like deal with it? Like, is there any recent example that you guys could give us?
Look, it depends on the criticality, right? Look, you're operating a business. So if there is a material impact, I mean, there is a financial impact for that problem. Obviously, when you're running a business, the one with the highest financial impact is going to be the prioritized the most, right? So you look at it from that perspective, then obviously then there's a functional perspective as well. Let's say it's a people related challenge.
Yeah.
Logically would go to the CPO because she's dealing with people, right? Let's say it's a technology challenge. By virtue of the function, it would go to the CTO because it's their area as well, right? So there are logical ways of prioritizing challenges based on the function that they're in, right? Let's say it's a challenge related to a daycare facility, right? So that's going to go into P&O, within P&O to the people experience team because they're looking at that kids area, right? So there is a very structured way of how problems are sort of assigned to individuals and teams, right? I hope that answers the question.
My questions are related to change and governance and overall culture. So when a big organizational changes occur, how does Jazz change its structure accordingly to it, in order to adapt to the organization change?
So mostly we are, I would say we are restructuring ourselves every now and then. So we just restructured. We had a recent restructuring in finance, then we have restructuring in business. That completely depends upon a strategic vision toward what we want to achieve. How we can become more efficient in a way that we are not spending a lot of our manpower, our energies on just decision that can be taken on a leader level. So that's how we always and then I think we adopt as a company, this is in our DNA. We adapt to change very easily. We have seen changes in past 2 years. We have adopted ourselves through COVID, through other any sort of like any change that we see. So we have adopted ourselves. We have adopted ourselves to in this just new office as well. We were in an F8. We came here. People were, I would say, like it's just a cultural shock sort of a thing. We were on more like I would say like 3 floors only office we had. Now we are at 14 floors. So people need to adjust that. So we have adjusted ourselves in multiple ways. with the organization.
To segue into that, how does the structure manage like issues of power and authority? Like especially during the transition from because you all transitioned into a service school company now because you offered more than just telecom services now. So how does the structure manage the issues of power and authority and accountability?
So look, when you transform as an organization, there are a lot of things that you're not ready for, right? Change is very difficult. Power dynamics are there. There's a new reporting structure. There's a new sort of responsibilities that are assigned. So you have to be very flexible in your approach, right? The main success is ensuring that there's a constant line of communication. People are aware of what's happening and why it's happening. So that's one aspect. Then there's also the aspect of flexibility. Just because you have a particular plan in place, it doesn't necessitate that this is the perfect plan, right? You need to be flexible and adapt to market dynamics. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're planning on switching into a new financial market, but you didn't realize that there is a regulatory compliance in that area. So now you have to adapt your own regulatory function to be able to adapt to new financial markets, right? Because we have, as Musha mentioned, a very centralized support function. But that centralized support function is specialized in telco regulatory compliance. Now we realize we need banking regulatory compliance, we need insurance regulatory compliance, we need health regulatory compliance. Those are all very different areas, right? So within the change, we have to be flexible. Now, think about financial reporting, right? You financially report into a group organization that's NASDAQ listed. So your team has always been doing financial reporting for just the Jazz as a whole. Now you need financial reporting for fintech, for insurance tech, for that. So it's important to adapt, to be very, very adaptable and not to be very fixed on a particular mindset. So our job is to make sure people understand that things can change very rapidly and they need to be open for that because the most difficult thing for human beings is ambiguity. Right? I think as Pakistanis, we're very happy and open to dealing with chaos. क्योंकि हमारी जिंदगी में दिन रात है. But so we're used to it, right? I mean, just ask the people that have to travel to DHA and Town every single day. So that's chaos that we adapt to and we address to, right? So we have a natural tendency to be more adaptable in this area, but it's still difficult for us, right?
Thank you.
So my question is that how would you describe the culture of jazz? Is it more employee oriented or performance oriented?
So we overall generally have a very open culture where we promote learning and no barriers or anything. It's definitely more employee centric because our culture is created based on what our employees' needs are. That's why we were mentioning we take these pulse checks every month almost, and then once every 2 years we have a major engagement survey that goes out. During which we assess what the needs of our employees are, what exactly they want, what's working, and what isn't. So I would definitely say it is primarily employee focused, but of course there is that aspect of performance where you are um, rewarded for performing top line work. We have different awards throughout the year. Also, our employees always recognized for their achievements. We have divisional champions that are nominated every quarter or month quarter.
Divisional
Quarterly. Yeah, so every quarter, then we have other awards that includes recognition from our CEO, for example, as well. So it's definitely primarily employee focused, with of course a focus on your performance because that's how all organizations just work. But everything that we do is created from the needs and asks of our employees.
Just to add on to what Dawson was saying, we also have our leadership principles. We've recently taken those out. Those were basically to form the core DNA of our culture, right? We've codified the unsaid elements within the organization. So they're basically eight core principles, and we measure every employee against them. And they're slowly being integrated to the entire organization that's our life cycle. So when we hire people, they will fall under these principles. When we review their performance, we review them against those principles. And we promote them, we review them against those principles. So when we reward them again, that's also good. So the idea to build a consistent culture is have a very core centralized framework, and those are our leadership.
I think that's all from our side. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It was really an honor.
With the
This sure. Thank you so much.